BioWare has sealed their fates with Dragon Age Veilguard, and if the next Mass Effect fails, then that will be the final nail in the coffin. Ubisoft is banking everything on Assassin's Creed Shadows, and with how the public is reacting to the game right now, you can only hope they pull their heads out their asses and bring back what made Assassin's Creed great. Blizzard has been on a downward trend. WoW has been treading water. It seems like they're running out of steam and barely staying afloat. Diablo managed to make a comeback, but very quickly dropped the ball. Overwatch became Overwatch 2, but that failed to follow up on everything that was supposed to make it a sequel, and now they're doing everything they can to revert back to original Overwatch. They even brought back loot boxes, but they're on the battle pass that you have to buy, so Hearthstone and StarCraft are dead. So with nothing else in the oven, I think they're pretty much done forever, barely surviving off WoW, Retail, and Classic and Overwatch. I don't know if they'll come back. Now we have Obsidian, creators of the amazing Knights of the Old Republic 2, Fallout New Vegas, Pillars of Eternity, and the Outer Worlds. I had a lot of hope on Avowed. That is until the main artist went on a strange tirade on Twitter, which caused everyone to lose their excitement for the game. I've enjoyed most of the games that Obsidian has put out, especially KOTOR 2 and New Vegas. But as the years go on, people come and go, and it seems all but a couple of directors have gone off to do bigger and better things. Some notable people that I kept my eyes on were Chris Avellone, who was the lead developer on Planescape Torment, as well as the lead designer on KOTOR 2. He left Obsidian in 2015 to work as a freelancer on some of the most amazing games ever made. Divinity Original Sin 2, both Pathfinder's Kingmaker and Wrath of Righteous, as well as a Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order game. Tim Kaine was the original creator of Fallout, who came back to help co-direct The Outer Worlds with Leonard Boyarsky. Joshua Sawyer, in my opinion, one of the best visionaries and game directors when it comes to RPGs. He's also the last director left still with Obsidian that I could find who helped create their best games. With Pillars of Eternity 1 and 2, Fallout New Vegas plus the DLC under his belt, it isn't an exaggeration when I say he is the only person who can bring Obsidian back from the brink with whatever game he's working on next, which hasn't been announced yet. With the amount of games that Obsidian puts out, they do have a need to bring up new directors into the position. And to start, they had Carrie Patel helm Obsidian's first AAA game, Avowed, which was also published by Microsoft. And boy, that was definitely a game. Before she was a game director, she worked on many projects as a writer and narrative lead. She eventually gained her first role as a game director with the Outer Worlds Peril of Gorgon DLC, which was received extremely well by the public. I'm sure it was due to that she was given the chance to take on a huge project like Avowed, but there is a huge difference between creating a completely independent game using the Pillars IP versus taking an already established game with their core gameplay mechanics already fleshed out and making a DLC for it. Avowed's gameplay was mediocre at best, with many questionable choices when it came to combat, stealth, and overall experience. The world was amazing, the graphics looked good, and the story was at least compelling, but that was not enough to make it a good game to follow in the footsteps of past Obsidian games. I can only imagine how much better it would have been if we had Joshua Sawyer or Tim Kaine behind the wheels. But as they're getting up in the years, they probably had other projects they wanted to focus on, or even want to give a new game director the chance to show what they had in the gaming industry, to build experience and skills to improve themselves. But if that was the case, then having them helm the first AAA game after partnering with Microsoft is probably a bad move in my opinion. We've heard a lot about how game studios have been firing their development talents. People with years of history with these companies who had built up their know-how and experiences in creating the games that have made these studios well known. Remember, a game isn't created by the studio, but by the people working for that studio. If you lose the people who made the company what it was and replace them with people who don't understand what that studio was creating games for, then we lose the spirit and history of the games that made them popular in the first place. So with the lackluster release of Avowed, Obsidian still has one other game in the pipeline that we know about, The Outer Worlds 2, which also has a completely new game director by the name of Brandon Adler. whose only other experience as a game director is creating DLC for Pillars of Eternity 2, Deadfire. He also had a hand in developing Avowed as the gameplay design director. So I do hope he takes what he learned from Avowed and improves upon what Outer World already has. It's a sequel. It shouldn't be too hard to take what's already established and create a experience we can really enjoy. I'm keeping my hopes and expectations in check because with how Avowed turned out, if Brandon is the type to not learn from his mistakes, I'll be sorely disappointed. I believe that if the Outer Worlds sequel also flops as bad as Avowed, Obsidian will probably only have one more chance before they're relegated as a support studio and eventually closed. I'm hoping for the best. Otherwise, I wonder what Chris Avellone is doing next. At this point, I'm just following actual developers instead of studios, because we've seen how badly companies like BioWare has fallen since their original developers left. I miss what Dragon Age was. So that's all I got. Let me know in the comments, what do you think? Am I just blowing it out of proportion? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Do you agree? Disagree? Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. See ya.